Hi guys, and welcome. I am Enigmius, and this is episode 1 of the Extreme Builders Compendium. This is a new series that I'm doing alongside the Builder's Guide to Feed the Beast, and this one is more about what you do when you've got the machines and the tools and the materials and the systems in place to make the game more rewarding than just getting your quantum suit armor and saying that you've won. Just throwing that out there. Now, throughout this series, I'll be taking builds that I'm doing and sort of walking you through step by step. I'm hoping in the not too distant future to start doing some time-lapse things once the mod packs are sorted out and stable and everything is good. But for now, I'm just going to kind of start on my new headquarters facility. And there was a question in one of the comments for my videos, or the comments from one of my videos, asking how I have been excavating. And the short answer was with a mining laser, but that's not necessarily all that helpful. So I decided that I would kind of go over that and also show you some of the other things that I've done that take this from a simple rectangle shoebox base with a macerator to something that I would say is starting to qualify as an extreme build. So you can see I took a chunk out of my volcano already for the basalt to make bricks. And then I took those bricks and I turned them into, the basalt blocks, and I turned them into bricks. So that's what those are. And then I did what I said I was going to do in my update video, which was build around the river so that I could leave the river largely untouched, but, you know, be able to excavate underneath it without worrying about hitting sand and all kinds of other crap that would ultimately make it look ugly. So now it looks at least uniform. And later on, I can decide whether or not I want to backfill with sand or just kind of leave it as it is. But the squid love it, so I guess that's good. I can't keep them out of there. They just keep going back. And then this is my basement, my shiny new basement. Now, if you've been following my Builder's Guide series, you already know about my basement fetish and using the basement, that space between the top level of dirt all the way down to bedrock, to greatly increase the amount of space that I have to work with when it comes to setting up my facilities and doing a bunch of different things. So that's what this is. And all of this was excavated with a mining laser. Like, I'm not kidding. I don't have any extra kind of, you know, special tools, machines, anything of that sort. So I'm going to be basically showing you some tips on how to do that for yourself, at least until I can show you how to build a mega turtle. So that's what we're doing today, is taking a look at that. And first, since you can't really look at it without wondering what the hell it is, these bricks are courtesy of Zycraft, which was a mod that was just recently added to the pack. It's basically only added right now for the world gen. Most, if not all, of the glowing ores that you see in the walls are from Zycraft. I think some of them might be Thaumcraft, but like, for example, these guys here, they tend to do a little flickering, but those are all Zycraft ores there. And you can basically start gathering them now until the mod dev gets everything else in that he wants to have in the mod and issues and updates. But the nice thing about it is, not only do we not have to create new worlds or miscraft ages just for these resources when he adds the things he wants to add, he also gave us some fun things to mess around with in the form of bricks like this and some other things that I don't even know what are for. But if you look at the bricks, you can see that the texture actually shifts. It's not a static pattern. It's kind of a shifting sort of weird pattern thing, which is just kind of neat. I mean, it's not particularly useful aside from looking neat. These are vanilla textures, obviously. I'm kind of hoping that Sphax updates with a high definition version. I think that would look pretty cool. One way or the other, they're kind of neat. And I actually put this here to mark the border between the desert biome, which is all on this side, and the forest and river biomes, which are all on this side. The river is actually its own specific biome, which I thought was odd, I guess would be the word. I wasn't expecting that, but river and pine forest biomes on this side. Now, why does it matter, you say? Well, because I'm going to be setting up red power thermopiles, which are a means of generating the energy that red power uses, and they're basically they operate based on the different temperatures on either sides of things and stuff. So you have like lava on one side and water or ice on the other side. And I'd be experimenting to see if it really matters whether you have water or ice. But the bottom line is, if ice blocks are placed in a desert biome, even if it's at the bedrock level, they melt. So then they become water. So if it is actually better to have ice as opposed to water, well, we set it up in a desert so it doesn't matter because we can't have ice. So that's why I've set this up. See what happens when I find shiny things? Just all off on a tangent. So basically we're talking about how I excavated all of this crap with a mining laser. Now there's a few things that you will need if you want to do something similar. You will need a mining laser. That should go without saying. You'll need torches. Don't forget those. You will need a jetpack. Now I have the Grava chest plate here. You'll notice that I'm still saying you'll need a jetpack. That's because the jetpack is far superior in terms of working vertically than this guy. This guy is good for flying horizontally. This guy is good for flying vertically, basically, is the way I look at it. And also you would ideally have some sort of foot protection that affords you a measure of fall damage protection. So rubber boots, nano suit boots, quantum suit boots, anything that gives you a little bit of extra protection from fall damage is well worth it. Now, I need to find a spot where I can sort of demonstrate. There's basically 1, 2, 3, 4 stages to an excavation like this. And I don't really want to start a new one out in the overworld because it involves punching a hole in the landscape, and I'm not really sure I want to do that. So we'll just pretend that this guy, this area here, I'll take those. Okay, we'll pretend. Alright, we'll pretend that this up here is sun, and we're going to pretend that there's no zombies or creepers going to fall on me while I'm doing this. And this is where we've decided we want to start our new excavation. So our first goal is to get ourselves down to bedrock as quickly as possible. Remember that this is not a mining operation, this is an excavation operation, so we're not worried so much about strict efficiency in finding the ores. We're worried about moving as much material as we possibly can. So the first thing to do is you want to kind of get on just the inner edge of the block that you want to remove, so that when you actually also you want to make sure that your mining laser is on long range. I hear footsteps. So that when you shoot down, you don't fall down. Oh jeez, that scared the crap out of me. I told you I heard footsteps. You didn't believe me, did you? Brains and meat. Anyways, so that when you shoot down, you don't fall down with the material that you just cleared. Now, that was a really awful example because I'm too low. Like, I'm not up high enough. Let's try over here. Find another dark hole where I can get jumped while I'm trying to give the demonstration. That's awesome. This is the abandoned mine shaft. Just gonna... I hear more zombies. Anyways, quickly, let's try this. Same thing, just barely on the inside so that when you shoot, you don't fall down with your stuff. And then you want to watch it for a few seconds because if any lava flows into that, you know you don't want to go down there. Did I just... Wow, I'm just hearing crap and stuff. Anyways, once you get down here, you can see I'm not at bedrock yet. I'm actually 12 or so levels above. You want to break 2 blocks directly in front of yourself and then do the same thing. You just want to barely catch the edge and then shoot straight down. Watch for a few seconds. No lava. There you go. That's bedrock right there. So that's the idea, like I say, is just to get down here as quickly as you can so that you can start setting up your mining operations. Now, one of the things, I'm actually on level 4 now, which is 1 level too low. So I just build myself up this way. It's not super important. It's just if you're not on level 5, you're going to keep hitting bedrock. It's going to block your laser. It's going to make you have to jump to get around. So just get yourself on level 5. Set your laser to horizontal. And then... wrong direction again. I'm ruining the immersion. Take a couple of shots. And then what you can do is set yourself up so that you're basically aiming down a little bit. Kind of like I don't know, a bit of an angle, so that you shoot once and it clears out the block at eye level, and then you shoot twice without moving the laser and it clears out the block at, you know, feet level, which is really kind of crappy when gravel gets in the way. But if you can find yourself kind of a place to do that without piles of gravel, you can see it doesn't take long to clear out sort of a cavity here where we can work. Now, this is where obviously the torches come into play, because it doesn't enhance the experience to have creepers blowing up behind you as you're doing this. So we can gather up all the loots, even if it's just cobblestone. We'll just put one here. You'll notice I put the torches on bedrock. That's just a habit that I've been getting on, because if for whatever reason you decide that you want to clear out, check under here for diamonds or whatever, you don't have to worry about moving torches around. So once you've got a little bit of space to work, you can see we've got all this spot above us. Set your laser back to long range. And then you basically, you know, start in one spot, and then you shoot, and then you move and shoot and move and shoot and move and shoot and move and shoot. And I always get that one extra shot off because I hit the wall and I don't realize that I've hit the wall. And then you step off to the side. Then you do it again. You'll basically eventually get into the groove to the point where you're not even really thinking about it, and all of a sudden you're just extracting, you know, you're punching through very significant amounts of material. Now, one of the things that you'll notice is that I had my jetpack equipped the whole time. Doesn't matter if it's a jetpack, your armor, whatever you prefer. And now that my laser is basically bone dry, I switch to whatever I'm using to replenish my laser, your lap pack, your, you know, whatever stage of lap pack you have, your gravasuit, chest armor, whatever. Shoot once, and then your laser just pulls the 200,000 EU, and you're back in business. And then make sure you're facing the right direction. All the glowy bits above. There's the extra shot again. So, I mean, you can see already we've cleared, like, you'll never do this fast with a quarry. There's just no way. They don't move that fast. Even if you overpower it, you're still getting things done much, much quicker than you could expect to. But the downside is the invisible ferrous ore. Your inventory will fill up very, very, very quickly with all the crap that's being mined up. And one of the solutions to that, and I'll actually be going into the details on how to set this up in a builder's guide video in the very near future. You'll notice that the ender pouches and the ender chests in this version have 27 slots instead of 9. I like that so much more. But I've got this set up on a red power filter with a half-second timer pulse set up with pneumatic tubes feeding a row of gold chests that I'll show you at the very end of the video. And you can get an idea here of how quickly it works to empty the pouch as I feed all of this stuff into it. So, do I need to make the comment about how Buildcraft pipes will never move it that fast? Maybe. I don't know. Buildcraft pipes will never move it that fast. That's, I'm not trying to put down anyone who works on the Buildcraft mod. I'm just saying time is of the essence when you're trying to do big projects. And the faster your equipment works, the bigger your projects can become. That's basically how it boils down for me. So the only thing that's left is if you're in a situation like I am where, I'm sorry, I just saw them and I have to have them. I'm gonna, yeah, I can just head straight out this way. Stupid bat. So, jetpack, yes. Now you can see here, actually, is a good example of, because I'm so deep, the mining laser only goes up so far. You can see sort of this jagged layer that it left when I was excavating straight up. Now in this case, I stopped because I was already pretty much at the edge. But I still have this little bit up here that I need to clear out. And depending on how deep you end up, or more specifically, how high the ground level layer is for what you're doing, you may find yourself in the same situation. And it's not difficult or complicated or anything like that, but there's a trick or two that you can use. I'm just getting this torch out of the way. Basically, the idea is that you want to set yourself up the same as you did when you shot that first hole down, which is you're on the edge of the block, so that you're clearing this block here, but you're actually standing on this block here. That's the goal. Again, make sure you're on long range. And then instead of just, shooting and watching and whatever, you shoot and strafe, right? Oh, I got the creeper. I feel so much better. Right? So you just basically, you shoot, you strafe. You'll probably have to adjust sideways a little bit one way or the other. And, you just keep doing that. And then you'll start another row, right? We'll step back this way. And it goes quick. It's just, like I say, it's just one of those things where I get another one. That's like 2. I'm so happy. It's just, it's one of those things that you do, and after a while, it becomes kind of second nature, or, at the very least, something you're very familiar with. Oh, I'm out of juice. There's one other thing that I want to show you, and then I'll head up and show you my sorting system. I just have to do this. Oh, the Enderman, and he looks pissed. Let him. And that is, if you are not careful, you can actually shoot yourself with your own laser. And I think, just to be safe, I'm just going to relocate here, because I was trying it earlier just to make sure that it was actually what I thought it was and not me losing my mind. Yes, I'm also gathering my loot. I worked for it. Alright, so we're going to head straight up here. This is the altitude. So, oh, jeez, monsters. I'm really not trying to waste your time while I chase around monsters that are going to die anyways. I just tired of getting jumped by monsters. So, again, mining laser on long range, and I'm at level 62. And you watch. See that? The flames? That was me shooting myself with my own laser. I'll do it one more time, and you can actually watch. The laser starts to pull away, and then all of a sudden you just gain on it very rapidly, and it hits you on the right side. So do this one more time. Here it comes. There. On fire. So just something to be aware of, and this is particularly true if you are working hard to get established before you've got the defenses that allow you to laugh at things like that. Come here. New world, I do need ender pearls. Ha ha ha. No, see, and now we use this guy. I'm just gonna throw there. So I'll be able to go up here and show you guys. I'll start emptying from the pouch, and you'll actually be able to see it working. And I also think that I might be running out of space too. So this is the worst. This isn't a sorting system. This isn't something that I'll ever be showing you as the right way to do anything. This is just what I've got in place right now to feed cobblestone into my furnace so that it makes smooth stone for bricks. That's all. So don't go get any ideas like this is something that you need to learn about. So here is the ender chest. Here is the filter. Here is the timer generating the pulse on the half-second interval. Here is the cable feeding that pulse to this filter, and also that one over there, but that one we're not talking about right now. And this is the pneumatic tube that goes down here and is basically hooked into all of these chests, so that if this guy is full, it'll move to this one. If this one is full, it'll move to that one, and on down. And I actually think, yeah, that's, oh my, this was courtesy of a fine testificate. All of these chests now are full with materials that I excavated from the basement. Just pointing that out. They're all gold chests and they're all full now. So it's time to stop playing around with the excavation now. I'll just do this. You'll be able to see in the background all the stuff getting pulled out and down the pipes. There we go. Now you can see some of the items are actually routing into these chests here. And that's either because, oh yeah, it's pulled the cobble. This filter here has pulled the cobble and fed it up to the furnace, which is now down here. But also if there's an incomplete stack of something, it'll put that in the chest too. So it's a really smart system that, I mean, there's a time and a place where it's not necessarily bad to have to plan things, and we'll be doing plenty of that in this series and the Builder's Guide when we start looking at sorting systems and processing systems. But in terms of just emptying a chest so that we can stay out in the field, it doesn't need to be rocket science. So that's where we're at. That's how to excavate a really big freaking hole. The only thing that you need to concern yourself with now is how to store all the crap that you pull out of it. So I'm not sure what we're going to do for the next episode. I think we might talk about... It makes sense to talk about power plants. Once I've got mine in place and I've got them set up, we can talk about where I put them and why. And then we can go from there. So let me know what you think. If this is something that you're interested in, if it's been helpful to you in any way. If there's something that you would like to see that I didn't cover, by all means, leave it in the comment section. And if you want to see more of these videos, the easiest way to know when I've uploaded a new one is to subscribe to my channel. So thanks for watching, guys, and take care.